How do I forecast my startup revenue? Forecasting your revenue might not seem very important. However, getting your forecast right is critical to your startup survival because getting your forecast wrong can have all sorts of damaging effects to your startup, including the end of your startup. In today's video, I'll explain why forecasting is so important, and I'll explain the mistakes you don't want to make forecasting. Finally, I'll share with you the 5-step plan to get your forecasting right. I hope you like it. Hi, I'm Brett. On my channel, I help early stage startup CEOs like you raise money and grow your startup. So if this sounds like you, then hit the subscribe button and the bell so you get notified every time I release a new video. Let's get started. And let's start with why forecasting is so important and the mistakes you don't want to make forecasting your business. There are 2 key reasons. The first reason is you need to know when you're going to run out of money. For example, let's say you start your company with $1 million in the bank. And let's further say that you have a team of 10 people that you are paying $100,000 per year to each person with the goal to develop your first product. Ignoring all other expenses, it's pretty obvious that you're going to run out of money within 1 year. Add in the other expenses such as equipment, software, travel, and rent that you have to estimate as well. Maybe that's another $8,000 per month. So maybe you have 11 months before you run out of money. Now, you know that you're likely going to either have to cut back on your costs or start raising the next round of funding pretty quickly. The second thing that you need to do is accurately forecast your revenue. Let's say you're expecting your new product to generate $1 million in net profits. That's the cash you're going to generate during the next 12 months. And let's say you're going to spend $2 million during this period and you have $1.5 million in cash at the beginning of the period. So you'll end up with $0.5 million in cash at the end of that period. However, instead of generating $1 million in net profits, let's say the product generates $0.5 million in net profits. Again, you're out of money sooner than you expect. Now let's move on to our 5-step plan for accurately forecasting your business, starting with step number 1. Number 1, execute your plan. The most impactful thing you can do to accurately forecast your business is execute your plan. I'll explain why. Let's say you're planning on launching your first product or service in January. Your first year revenue plan is $104,000 broken up as you can see here. However, there's been a 6-month delay because your team underestimated how long it would take to develop the product. Now your first year revenue is only $31,000. The products don't end there because product delays cascade through your revenue forever. Now your year 2 revenue plan drops from $1 million to $200,000, and your year 3 revenue plan drops from $3.5 million to $1 million. Do you see the problem? And we haven't even added in that you probably assumed revenue would ramp faster than it did. If you want to get your financial model reasonably correct, manage your product development so your products come out on time. This leads to step number 2 in our process. Step number 2, you need a great team if you expect to execute well. I don't care what operational plan you have. If you don't have a great team around you to execute your plan. For example, I learned this early on in my career at Micrel, a publicly traded semiconductor company. Micrel had operational plans, but its execution was mediocre at best. And I'm being kind here. It was horrifically bad. They missed their numbers time and again. Then again, many of the people weren't that good, so the plans were irrelevant. When you work with weak people, you learn how important having a great team is. The sooner you learn this lesson of how important your team is, the better off you will be. Interestingly enough, really good teams develop better and more detailed operational plans too. Let's move on to step number 3 in our process. Step number 3, do a bottoms-up forecast. Bottoms-up forecasting is as old as dirt. You simply forecast by each customer what you expect them to do for whatever time period you're forecasting. You should forecast every customer as best you can when you're just starting out. Unfortunately, forecasting isn't an exact science, so you just take your best estimate of what you think is going to happen. As the number of customers grow, I recommend that you should focus on the 20% of your customers that make up 80% of your revenue. Then extrapolate the rest. For example, if the 80% of your customers that make up 20% of your revenue is growing at 30% year over year, then assume that will continue. This is what's called the ruler method, because you could use a ruler to eyeball your growth. If this sounds horribly unscientific, it is horribly unscientific. However, it will give you an idea of what will happen. Then use step number 4 on our list. Step number 4, use the Graham technique. The Graham technique is something we borrowed from Benjamin Graham. Graham wrote The Intelligent Investor, an incredible book on value investing. Graham would analyze the growth rate of stocks by taking the average of the last 3 years of a company's earnings and comparing that to the average earnings 10 to 12 years previously. He would then have an average earnings growth rate for a company. You can apply the same methodology to forecasting revenue. For example, take the last 3 months of a company's revenue and compare that to the revenue 12 to 14 months earlier. Now you have an average trailing 12-month growth rate that averages out any large monthly swings up or down. If you're just starting out, then take the average growth rate of the previous 3 or 4 months to extrapolate what you think is going to happen. Now let's move on to step number 5 in our process. Step number 5, compare your bottoms-up forecast to your Graham forecast. The nice thing about the Graham forecast is it's just numbers. So you are forced to explain why you are expecting higher or lower growth to the trend. It's not perfect, and nothing is with forecasting. But comparing the bottoms-up methodology to the Graham results keeps you honest. Now you have an idea of what will happen. But in terms of the numbers I would put in my plan, I would go by the old adage of under-promise and over-deliver. In other words, if your forecast modeling is showing you'll do $1 million a year in revenue, then I might hedge that number by 20% and commit to $800,000. And I'd run the company to the $800,000 plan too. The reason you want to do this is we CEOs are an overly optimistic bunch, to say the least. We always expect the best case to happen. Running your company to a worst case plan until you see evidence otherwise keeps you from running out of money too soon. Now, if this content is resonating with you, then please hit the like button right now. One final thought. Your forecasting accuracy impacts the ability of your investors to support your company. You'll learn when you have investors that they have to report on your progress to their partners, and they'll have to explain why you are missing your plan. If you consistently miss your plan, it may make it difficult for an investor to get their partners to support your next round of funding. However, you make it easier for your investors to get the support they need when you consistently beat your forecast. Now, what did you learn from today's video? Put your answer in the comments column below today's video. And if you have any questions, put them in the comments column too, and I'll be happy to answer them for you. Now, I have one more thing for you today. It's my free startup pitch deck template. It has all the slides you need to develop an awesome pitch deck. Click the link below today's video, and it's yours for free. And if you haven't already, join my free group of startup CEOs, Zero to Pitch. It's a community for startup CEOs focusing on growing their early stage startups and startup CEOs raising money for their early stage startups. Click the link below this video to join. Finally, click the subscribe button to get notified every time I release a new video. I'm Brett at brettjfox.com. Thanks for watching today. Take care.